Don't know where it goes. I'm on a road. Follow your heart. It won't let you down. Follow your heart. Take those steps beyond your way. Take those steps. When you have a dream, you gotta start. It's the only way. If you're gonna shine, and you're gonna shine, shine, shine. You're gonna shine. Here we are, shining bright on the ranch, despite what that stupid groundhog said. I mean, let the wolf eat him. I don't care. Done with winter, but we are shining bright on the ranch. We are brought to you by Blast Music 24/7. Guys, if you're an indie artist, you want to find great indie music, you got to go to Blast Music 24/7. It is the best place to put your music up, showcase, keep your money, put your best foot forward on Blast Music 24/7. We are going to go live on Thursdays in France, in Europe, with Indie Music Radio. So happy to be you guys are listening in. I have some sponsors. Hotel Universe. You need a professional video. Even if it's an MP4, even if it's a lyric video, tell them Randie sent you. You're going to get a deal. To the max advertising. Also, let me get my banner going here so you guys know how to find it. To the max advertising, email ttma advertising, ttm advertising at windstream.net will get you some great prices on some great things you need to brand. So here we are, another Monday. Thank you for tuning in. We got some people listening already. This is interactive, so we can see your responses and we can talk to you guys. So make sure you chime in and we know who's listening. That being said, StreamYard's a little wonky tonight, and some of the links did not go. I know we're on YouTube and some of the Facebook, but the LinkedIn, I think, is a little jinky tonight. So hopefully you can find a link, and hopefully you could chime in. If not, it's always up on my YouTube page. All right, in for a treat tonight. Someone I know really well and for quite a while, and he is the cowboy hillbilly fire chat musician. If you're sitting around a fire and you're thinking cowboys, this is the type of music you're going to be thinking about listening to. You know, Heartache, Whiskey, the whole 9 yards. A good friend of mine. We belong to song circles. Indie artists, I'm always encouraging you, put your best foot forward. You know, especially with Spotify. And I've always had song coaches. I have a couple songwriting circles I go to. And Skylands is one of them, Skylands Songwriting Circle. And I have to tell you, this guy is my dog's biggest fan. I have to tell you, when I sing, the dog's in the other room. Kevin sings, the dog is like right here by my side, always. So without further ado, Kevin DeFeo, yay! Oh, now you're muted.
That's my fault. I'm sorry. Hey, Randie. And Honey the dog, my biggest fan. I'm big with the dog audience. That's a good thing.
You know what? If dogs don't like you, like I get a little like skeptical. You know, like
It's
what
better
do
than
they
them
know that I
howling,
don't
right?
know? You
You
know?
said that. I was thinking of my uncle had a Cocker Spaniel, and every time he played a Three Dog Night song, the dog would howl along to it. We couldn't decide if he liked it or hated it.
I have a cocker. It is a Cocker Spaniel. You have a thing for Cocker Spaniel? I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird. We go way back. I was trying to think today how long like we've known each other.
I want to say we met in 2015 or 2016. So
Something
it's
like that.
been
Almost,
a
this could
good
be our 10-year
eight.
anniversary.
Yep, I was gonna say it's probably about 9 years.
Yeah, 9, 10 years.
And
Yeah.
we met the first time was at the Song Circle for Skyline Songwriters Guild over at Bernie's house here in Bud Lake. Yep.
Right.
And you were at the time working on an album because I know you were talking about stuff you were doing with your producer, and I was like, I was still pretty new to doing the songwriting thing, and I'm like, the producer does what? So I was a pretty much a noob still back then. I guess when we met, I was probably a year and a half into songwriting at that point.
Right,
I was
right.
probably maybe about 9 months, 8 months, 9 months on playing the guitar. I started with a uke, so I was in transition world.
You know what? It's funny. I had been writing songs for a long while, but I had only been playing guitar for about a year and a half, 2 years,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
So we were both kind of in the same vibe guitar wise there.
Yeah, trying to sing
Uh,
and play at the same
yeah.
time, you know?
So I distinctly remember when you got your rain song, and we
Yeah.
talked about that you could paddle a canoe and it would stay in tune.
It's still true. Oh, there it
So,
is.
yeah, I have a lot of vivid memories from those days. They were good, and we still do that song circle now, but we do it virtually. So, actually, you
Right.
could if you're free on Tuesdays, you could attend, but you're usually pretty
Yeah,
busy.
Tuesdays, I'm so slammed right now, but, I
Yeah.
have been and I'm in writing mode. Winter is when I do my writing, and I have a few songs, um, but not ready quite ready for prime time. I took one up to the Long Island, songwriting circle up there, Songwriting Association, and they have a great songwriters in the round. They have 4 people that are playing. "Ah, we have a thumbs up. Guys, wait, we've got comments." So, Minnie's a tough one. He really is. He's funny. Um, so the Rhode Island Songwriters Association, what they do is they have 4 artists sing, but a week before you play, they give you a song prompt.
Oh, so you gotta write to that prompt, and
Yes, and
that
sing
that
it,
yeah,
a bird
I
song.
like
And I'm like,
I like those kind of challenges. I don't know about it on a time constraint that way. Usually the ones I do, I have a month. A week's a short porch, but I have, oh, well, you know Rick Barth, and I think you probably participated in some of his song title challenges. There's an online group I belong to from Scotland, Jesse's Well Songwriters group, that every month they have a new one. This is month 45 they just put out yesterday, and I wrote one last month for month 44, and it was Footprints in the Snow, and actually I got some decent feedback on that from people, so that turned out okay. And they are fun challenges. I'm intrigued by when everybody gets a prompt and how those songs filter out and who does what with it. So, like that Footprints in the Snow one from last month, I think a lot of people started from the same visual I had, which is, okay, you woke up and you see your partner's footsteps going away from you in the snow. And
I'm thinking stalker. I'm sorry.
oh, well, it could be coming towards you. Yeah, that's another good way of thinking of it. And so I don't know, there were at least 2 or 3 dozen songs that were written, and everybody's had a little different, way of doing it. My
I
buddy
know, you
Arnold
think they're
Connolly,
gonna all sound the same, and they're all going in different directions, even though it's the same prompt. Doodle doo from the rooster. Here we
do you
go.
know do
In
you know
Washington,
Arnold?
New Jersey.
Arnold's great. Arnold lives in Washington, a little bit west of me here, and we've become very good friends. He's originally from Kentucky. He's another country singer-songwriter, and you see there, I was gonna say, he put it in the post. Washington, New Jersey, the hotbed of country music, and he is fantastic with his songs and his promotion, and
Well,
he's
let's
been a good
start with
friend.
that, Kevin, because I also was a modern country person in New Jersey. I thought it was kind of tough being a country artist
It
in New
is.
Jersey. What do you think?
There Well, and here's the thing, there are a fair number of country bands in New Jersey. It's not a huge country scene. There's not like a country bar you can go to or whatnot. Probably the closest one is J&S Roadhouse in West Milford. I have played there a few times. My friend, former Phil band, I played with him. I opened for Wade Jennings. I opened for Thomas Gabriel, who's Johnny Cash's grandson. So there's these anecdotal places we can go do it. um, Arnold and I have played different songwriter things. We've played different, there's different bars you can go and play, and different clubs you can go and play, but it's a tough nut. And you're out playing cover tunes. I'm fortunate that I have a few places that I've been able to go play originals, where I slip in my originals, and I cover some of my friends from Lower Broadway. I cover some of Arnold's songs. Just trying to spread the word of, original country. And,
In
you
New
bring that up
Jersey.
uh, on the heels of what happened last night, which, and I'll say it, and I don't care if anybody hates it or not. Beyonce winning Best Country Album makes me want to vomit because that is not what comes off Music Row is in country. So I find that maybe especially here in New Jersey, you're challenged because yeah, I'm a modern because of what time I'm in, but if you go when you listen to my songs, I'm maybe modern in topic, but I'm very traditional in how I approach the music. I'm,
Right. Your delivery is
but
definitely very traditional.
yeah,
I had a show on that topic on Beyonce a couple months ago after it came out. Right, Arnold, Arnold loves you. Mindy
yeah,
didn't
or
know Washington was a hotbed. She lives in Washington, and I don't know.
yeah,
We have to
it's
check some
fun.
things
Yeah,
out. But we did we questioned what is country music and is this Texas Hold'em um, a country song? And what we decided at the time, because she was snubbed by the CMA, was that
yeah.
there are some country elements. She has some steel guitar. She throws
There,
some country elements, but um, Kevin, are you responding?
I did. I just give Arnold a hello. It's
Yeah, right. Okay.
and it's not just her. It's a lot of what comes out of Music Row today, which they tell you what you're going to listen to, or they try to tell the audience what they're going to listen to. Hip hop music with a banjo or a steel guitar in it, to me, is never going to be country music. Country music is its heart, its soul. It is Waylon Jennings. It is Hank Sr., it's Hank Jr., Toby Keith, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, my favorite, George Jones, that heartfelt realism, Loretta Lynn, Patsy Cline. Um, and there
Thanks for
are,
including the ladies.
yeah. Oh, I love my Lady Countries. Uh, even there are more modern people. Miranda Lambert. I love Miranda Lambert. I think
Yeah.
she's fantastic.
Yes.
Um, there are modern country writers. They're just not in Nashville, or if they're in Nashville, they're indies. Guys like, and I adore them, and I go see them whenever I can. Cody Jinks, Ward Davis, Ray Scott, Jamie Johnson, to name a few. Those are guys that I cover their music. I love their songwriting styles. Um, they keep it real, and that's it to me. Like my buddy Farmer Phil, his phrase, "What comes out of Nashville today is it's either tractor rap or hick hop, HICKHOP, hick hop, because it's hip hop that somebody threw some country sounds into, or they try to write country themed lyrics. I guess it's just it doesn't work for me, and I think that's why I gravitate a lot. If it's not country and outlaw country, bluegrass as well, which is
Yeah.
back porch storytelling. Those are the things that really inspire me that I cling to.
Right. Yeah, it's true. I think country music is, and I talk about this a lot on the show because it's an Americana country show. But country doesn't know what country is anymore because, again,
Right.
Nashville is trying to dictate, and it really bothers me that Music Row is all covers. If
Yeah.
you play original music on Music Row, you will get banned from the strip. True story. I'm not making this up
It
because I
it's
always
yeah.
play off the strip when I play.
I I have made a number of friends that you go play Lower Broadway. You go down to Lower Broadway. When Elvie and I started going, 2000, I think the first time we went down there, probably 2004, 2005.
Yeah, Arnold
And
your friend had a Nashville
yeah,
studio.
he had a studio in Nashville.
He got out of
And
Dodge.
when you Lower Broadway used to be a bunch of dive bars on Honky Tonk Row. They were low budget, plywood floors, and it was country. And if you didn't like this band, you went next door.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
when
yeah.
we go down there, Elvie and I were just in Nashville before Christmas, and literally, it's pretty much Layla's, um, Robert's, Western World, and Alan Jackson's that stick to traditional country music. And then if you know bands, you can find them playing other places.
Like
So,
off
you
the
know,
strip
so
and,
and then I have
LPs.
some, so I've made some really good friends that have given me some opportunities to sing with their bands. One of them, and I'll mention them here, David Graham and the Eskimo Brothers. I've gotten up and sang their originals. So that Cover Your Friends stuff that we do. I learned a few of his songs, and he's invited me up to play like at Layla's and do their original songs. And recently in Charlotte, I did too with them. Tyler Deaver and his band I've gotten up and sang, and there's a few other guys on there, Nick Cross and whatnot. And I'll go and request their originals if you know because if there's no original music, there's no music everybody knows. It all starts as original music somewhere.
You're after my indie heart. You really are, because I'm all about supporting the indie artists. Kevin, you and I have been on this journey, and it's crazy.
It is.
The ups and downs of this crazy. If I could just sit and write songs, I'd be so happy. But
I,
you know,
funny story. Yeah, it's funny you say about sitting and writing songs. And we were talking earlier about, you know, somebody asked me one time, how did you know when how did you know when you felt like a musician when you started on this? And my story is I started, so Skyland Songwriters Guild, when they used to run Groove in the Grove, they ran it here at Vasa Park where I live.
right.
And I was on the board of trustees and I helped run the event. They rented the grounds to help run the event. And I had a guy in the neighborhood that I was just doing a little singing with him. He played guitar. We sang literally old country and some old doo-wop songs. And we just, we called ourselves the Vasa Cowboys, and we did a lot of Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, that kind of stuff. But I went to SSG over at Enzo's, and I was like, all right, I want to go check out this songwriter scene. I went and listened. It's a lot of, you know how the group is. It's a lot of folk, more folk than anything else. And I don't dislike folk music. It's just not where my bread and butter runs.
Right,
But
right. I
I was
agree.
like, I think I want to try writing a song. So I downloaded, I don't remember, it was like some stupid app on the phone where I could hit chords on the guitar. And I wrote a little 3-chord song, and I showed up with my phone, and they said, you can't plug that in and sing to it. That's karaoke. And I was like, I was crushed. Um, Lo and behold, a few months later, somebody that I work with who's a musician, and Jason Gallagher, that some of you might know from This Complete Breakfast, he kept encouraging me. He's like, don't buy a guitar. I know your personality. You'll break it in about 5 minutes. You'll get mad. Buy a ukulele, buy a ukulele. So he wore me down because the one day he said, how many bottles of whiskey you drink in a month? And I said, I don't know, 5. And he goes, drink 4 and take the money and go buy a ukulele and try it out. And if you like it. So I wrote a 3-chord song. And I brought it to Enzo's, and I sat there with my little $35 yellow ukulele and played a 3-chord song. And I expected to get laughed out of the place, and nobody laughed. And I showed
Love
up the next
them.
month with 2 new songs and a newer ukulele that had a pickup and an EQ in
Wait,
it.
hold on a second.
Yep.
Arnold, calm down. Vampire is coming. You have to wait. I'm just saying.
We'll
Settle
get to
down
it,
over
buddy.
there. Calm down. It's coming. My
So
favorite too. We're
yeah,
holding it
so
to
then
last.
yeah, and then I progressed from there into playing acoustic guitar, and I play a little electric guitar. Lap steel, Arnold mentioned there, I played for him actually at a party, which was fun. And but I always still felt like kind of a hack musician, and I was like writing songs, but I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere until one time we were down in Tennessee, and I own where my mother's family's from, Perry County. So I own the property down there now, 5 acres, literally in the middle of nowhere, Flatwoods, Tennessee. But we were up just a little north of Waynesboro, and not too far from where Loretta Lynn has her place in Hurricane Mills. And we had dinner, and I saw this, or I should say, Elvis saw this thing on the hill, and it was like Route 66 Music Hall. So we drive up, and the print on the sign was too small to read. So this is like Wednesday or Thursday before Thanksgiving. So I get out of the car and I go and I read, and it says live music Fridays and Saturdays. I'm like, oh, that's disappointing. We're not going to be here on the weekend, yada, yada. And this guy comes out to have a cigarette, right? I didn't know anybody was inside. He comes out and he looks at me and he goes, oh, guitar player, huh? And I go, what do you got, VSP? And he goes, no, you're wearing a hat that says Martin Guitar. I'm like, oh yeah, duh. So he goes, you have a guitar with you. Me and some of the guys that, we're the band on the weekend, we're jamming, you want to come in and play with us? And I'm like, well, I'm kind of new and whatnot. He's like, well, what do you play? I'm like, well, country and bluegrass. He goes, like old stuff? I'm like, yeah. He goes, come on, you'll fit right in. So Elvie and I go in and I pull out my guitar and I sit down and there's this old timer playing bass and he looks at me and goes, Jason tells us you like old country, so lead us off on something. And I'm like,
No
okay.
pressure. Ah.
Like, all right, let's go for Hank Williams Sr., Cold, Cold Heart, my favorite Hank Sr. song. He's like, oh, you're serious? Okay. So we play a song and then everybody plays a song as we go around. So I'm like, about the second or third song, I'm comfortable, I'm having a good time. It comes back around to me, and I think I did the Wayfaring Stranger next, old bluegrass song, and this guy comes running in, and he pulls out, and it was like a vintage D28, like just like pre-war, right? And he sits down and he tunes up and he starts playing a song. And somebody says to him about whatever, and he goes, "Yeah, I got to work really late," and blah blah blah. And he goes, "All right, well, what happened today?" And he goes, "Well, I think I think I pitched one successfully that's getting a cut." And I start listening to these guys talking. He was a staff writer in Nashville, and like that's what he did for a living. He sat in a room and he wrote songs. And he was talking about the things we were just talking about, that he's not part of the pop manufacturer of country, that he's still an old school dude writing his thing. But it was the first time I felt like a country musician, like I fit somewhere, which was really a cool experience for me. And then
Well,
I guess I
let's
haven't
get to
looked
one of
back.
your songs. Let's get to one of your
Okay.
songs because you've come a long way, and that's a great story of finally turning the corner and feeling like a musician and more confident with yourself. That you walked in there, man. That's great. That's a courage. It really did. So let's talk about Falling,
Okay.
quintessential country song.
This was, yeah. So this came from, this was a Rick Barth song challenge where we all were given a title of Falling. And there were a lot of great Falling songs. Um, I have covered some of other people's Fallings. I've covered Bernie's. I've covered Autumn Breeze had a great Falling song. And, we lost Laura.
I know.
Rest in peace. I'm still kind of broken up about that.
I know. And I had
Um,
the flu and I couldn't even make the funeral. I was devastated,
yeah, it
but
was very, very sad.
yeah.
So I wrote my Falling, and Falling to me was, I just had that notion of you're falling for the wrong person, because everybody else got falling in love, falling in love. And love songs are not exactly my, as you know, not really my bread and butter. Yours
You
either.
and me both. You
Um,
and me both.
I have a few, but it's not where my head goes when I write. Because to
I feel
me,
like I'm lying. I feel like I'm lying. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I'm not an unhappy person. I'm in a happy marriage and all that stuff. It's just, to me, sad country songs have always been the best. And so I'm writing Falling, and I had those first couple of verses, and I'm like, but what happens from here? And what happens from here? And what happened from there was I would just sit and strumming the chords over and over again, doing the Paul McCartney method, right? Of mumbling whatever. And I screwed up and played a different chord. And that's where that turn in the song comes from. And it's, I mean, I'm glad I recorded it, but it's so much fun to play live, to watch audience reaction. And Bernie Drury from our group. I've seen Bernie filming the audience and not filming me while I'm playing it, to see how they react. So
all right.
it's a fun one.
Let's listen to Falling.
Okay.
You hit me like a bullet when you walked through that front door of the bar I used to frequent, never seen your face before. Your hair was long and golden, it glistened in the light. Should've known you were the devil, because looking in your eyes I was falling. I was falling. Falling for your laughter and falling for your smile. I think I fell in love in just a little while. I was falling. I was falling. We started dating heavy and spending lots of time. I was so enamored, I spent my last dime. I started getting vibes that something was amiss. You charmed away my fears, dismissed them with a kiss. I was falling, falling, falling for your perfume, falling for your lies. I didn't see the demon hiding under your disguise. I was falling, falling. You started disappearing, I'd wonder where you were. So I went out searching, found your car behind a berm. I caught you with a man, making out and such. My anger boiled over and I pushed you off a bluff. You were falling, falling. I listened to your screaming while your arms were flailing round, until you hit the water that swallowed up the sound of your falling, falling. Now I sit in prison, in a concrete cell, and I'm waiting for the day they send me straight to hell. They'll walk me across the courtyard, up the gallows steps. They'll put a noose upon me, tied around my neck. That trapdoor will swing open and I'll take my last breath. Should've known at the beginning that you would be my death. I'll be falling, falling, falling.
So that's your murder ballad.
It's a murder ballad. Yeah. I remember when I first put the demo out there, Rick called me and he goes, "You need mental help." And I said, I hit that minor chord. And again, I'd written everything up to that point and I hit the minor chord and I said, "Oh, now I know where the song goes." So the song turns dark. And in about 2 minutes, I'd written the rest of the song. And, again, I played it lots of places live. I enjoy doing it that way. While we're talking about the recording, I want to give a shout out to, my producer, Steve Kerchuk. You know Steve.
Yep.
And Steve played, on that the whole album, the only thing I played is acoustic guitar. Steve played my bass, my drums, mandolin, lead guitar, the strings that are in there. He handled all that. And then Wayne Wilson did the pedal steel, and Wayne is just a phenomenal musician
Big
and
advantage
creator.
of using studio musicians. Number one, you're keeping musicians working.
Yeah.
Number two, you're using their creativity to bring your song alive.
Yeah, they
And
were fantastic to collaborate with. I mean,
fantastic.
you've done
And
recording.
yep, they go places you would never think of, because I'm not going to
Yeah.
be limited by my guitar playing. I haven't been
Yeah.
playing that
That
long.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like that Footprints in the Snow that I just did, that's a bluegrass song. I hear in my head, I hear the banjo, I hear the big old upright bass, I hear dobro, I hear fiddle, I hear mandolin. I can play the dobro. Eh, I can play a little bit on the banjo. Even I'm not a good flat picker for bluegrassing. It's just not. I'm a rhythm guitarist, right?
Yeah.
But I hear the parts. So if I ever go and record that, I've got people in mind. Hey, I know this guy, that guy, that could bring those things together. And maybe someday I'll record. Recording is expensive, and the return on investment is not much.
You know what I want to talk to you about? Because I never talked to you about this. There are a lot of ways to make money in the music business. Streaming is, you're not going to get much return.
Nope.
So you actually worked at Wild West City?
I did for 2.5 seasons.
I thought that was the coolest. Tell everyone about Wild West City.
It's funny. me, my brother, my sister, when we were kids, I grew up in Clifton, New Jersey, and my aunt and uncle lived in Hapakong, and they told us about, hey, Wild West City in Necong, New Jersey. So when we were kids, I mean, we didn't have a lot of money for a lot of things. That was one of the treats we got to go to. We loaded up, with the old cap guns, not that crap they have now. We had the cap guns with the roll.
Yeah.
They look like little Western guns. We'd have our little Western hats on, and we'd go and we'd shoot the bad guys and join the posse and all that stuff. And it was like, really a neat place. And then many, many years later, I was here at Vasa, and I didn't even know they were in business. Oh no, well, before I was at Vasa, when my daughter was 3 or 4. She was probably 4. My nephew was 2. My sister and I took them to Wild West City, and we went, and it was, it was the same. Everything was the way it was, and it was like stepping back into my past. And then fast forward a bunch of years later, and the summer of COVID. And actually, I shouldn't say that. I opened a couple of times over at Wild West City for different bands because they used to have bands on the weekend. So I opened for Nikki Breyer, and I opened for somebody else. I don't remember who. So I did that a couple of times. But the summer of COVID, when nobody could use the inside of buildings, Wild West City was kind of in dire straits. They were trying to do what they could do. So they could do some of the street shows, but they couldn't do any of the inside entertainment.
Mhm.
So SSG, and actually I didn't do it with SSG. SSG got one Saturday. So Dan Hirschberg, Dan. Dan works at WBID
Yeah.
and a couple of the other groups in the area. So Wild West City knows him because he helps them with some advertising and whatnot. So SSG took one Saturday, and then Rick Barth and Carl Smeka, myself, I think Arnold probably, played there too. That we did like we each did a couple half-hour sets out on the stage. It was 1,000,000 degrees because you weren't covered. It was a weird thing. But a couple years later, they were looking for somebody to play, play Saturdays in the saloon. And one of the old timers remembered me and called Dan, and Dan called me, and I did it for um, 2.5 seasons. And it was, I played a character, Kevin the Drifter. I actually wrote my own theme song, which, is kind of a neat little Western theme. Kevin the Drifter, he rides into town and he sings this song, and then he never stays long enough to find anybody to love him because he drifts to the next town. It was but I got to play a character. Between sets, I sat out on the porch and talked to kids, and kids want to get pictures, right? And parents want to get pictures, and that it was that. And I gave people a lot of directions because I could read the map. Like, oh yeah, go down to the barnyard and turn left, and you'll find the Native American village. So it was fun. I did it. Like I said, I'm not there anymore, but it was fun to do for that time, and it was. I got to sing a lot of real old country stuff that you don't do in bar scenes. It's not that, and it was fun. I actually found some real old cowboy songs from a book from Oklahoma University, so I learned a handful of those. And then I don't know if there's a new indie guy out of Canada called Coulter Wall. He really writes in a very old style. I used a lot of his songs in there too. And it was fun. It was a fun gig to do for
It
those years.
sounds like fun. But you did, I mean, again, there's a lot of ways to make money in this business. That's really thinking outside the box, and the Wild
I
West
didn't make
City.
I didn't make that much money because it's a real mom and pop place, but but yeah, you're saying about streaming. I haven't looked lately, but I know around Christmas time my album had like 140,000 streams, and I got my first royalty payment of $79. Um,
I know, it's exciting.
yeah, it's exciting. It's odd. The streaming world is different. It's like, people talk about ticket prices, how concert tickets have gone so bad, and that's because there's no record sales. People don't buy CDs. I mean,
Right.
I printed CDs because I needed them to have to, I gave some away. I've sold some. But it's not the go-to media these days. And I made, I don't know, 50 MP3 sticks up. And
Mhm.
even those, people are like, yeah, we'll stream you. And
We'll
most of
stream
it's
you.
on
Yeah.
Spotify. And I get, some on Apple Music and some on Amazon Music. And then I actually got a message that, hey, your song showed up on Deezer. I had to go look up what it is. It's like Spotify in
I like
France.
Deezer a lot.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. I had to go look it
It
up.
actually runs circles around, I think, Spotify and you and
Yeah.
iTunes.
I had
I
to
like
I had to
Deezer.
call one of my kids. Do you know what Deezer is? It's like I never heard of it.
Yeah. Amazing Radio is great from out of UK. They actually are better with royalties and stuff. But let's get back to your original music. Next song up is Kiss My Cash.
Yeah, this was so my daughter was a junior and senior in high school. She was aspiring to, and she's since gone a different path, but she was going to go to school to be, music. And she was taking vocal lessons over at piano, the piano workshop, I think it's the name of it, in Chester. And she wasn't old enough to drive, so I'm driving her to her lessons. And commercial came on, and I don't know, it was some for some stupid product. I don't even remember the product. But at the end of the jingle, they said, put your money where your mouth is. And I said, why don't you put your mouth where my money is? And I went, oh. And Emily goes, what? I go take your lesson. So she went and took her lesson, and I sat and I wrote out Kiss My Cash, because that, how it is. Your inspirations come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very linear, and sometimes it's a phrase. And that phrase was, that's a good way to tell somebody off. That's a good way to tell an ex-wife off. And I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes, I had that song written. I came home and I pulled out a guitar, and I don't know, at the time, I think I was still on uke. And I put chords
Yeah,
to
you
it.
were on guitar. I remember you working on this song.
Yeah. Well, I remember I had to rework it, because I think I wrote it on uke first, and I put it on the side because it never, when I still play my uke from time to time. It's fun to do.
You had your baby. You had your mini.
I got a mini at one point, yeah. And then I was like, it needs to be on a dreadnought guitar, because that's what country music should sound like. And eventually I retooled it, and that's been a bread and butter song for me. I play that many places. It's by far my most streamed song, more than double anything else. And the recorded version of it, I did kind of a lighter version years ago that I recorded. I did a rockabilly one with a couple guys I work with just for fun, but this recorded version I did with Steve and Wayne, it cooks. I mean, it's hardcore country. Boom.
All right.
With the pedal
We
steel
gotta
and the
hear it.
telly.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay.
Gave a damn that I worked for the man to buy you food and pay for our home. Our vows you defiled while I cared for our child. Seems all you ever wanted to do was roam. While I struggled to make ends meet, all you did was go and cheat. But looking back, I'm glad you went astray. 'Cause happiness I found the second time around. My wallet is much fatter today. You wrecked our home when you turned your back on our family. You ran around on me, you piece of trash. Why don't you put your mouth where my money is? And while you're there, you can kiss my cash. Many kids have you had since you treated me so bad? Seems no one wants to keep you as a wife. It seems justice has been served. You got what you deserve. While you've ruined yours, I have a real good life. You wrecked our home when you turned your back on our family. You ran around on me, you piece of trash. Why don't you put your mouth where my money is? And while you're there, you can kiss my cash. my cash. Why don't you put your mouth where my money is? While you're there, you can kiss my cash. Hey, while you're there, you can kiss my cash.
Oh, we got Sparky Music Global chiming in,
Hey,
loving that
Sparky.
song. I love that song too. We are on the ranch, and we are brought to you by Blast Music 24/7, your one stop for all indie artists. If you haven't checked it out, it's a great platform to use. There are everything indie artists, and you get to keep all your money and showcase your songs on your best platform. It's a really good place to be. Hotel Universe for all your video needs. And they also sponsor us on Roku TV. So we are across 7 platforms, and we're on TV. We are on Indie Music Radio in France. Hopefully we're going to go to the other way, and there's some California stations that we're going to be going to too. So great to be indie artists sticking together, supporting each other. And if you want to be on the show, on the ranch, there's a little thing going across the bottom. All you got to do is check out my website. You have to spell my name right. RandieIEONEIL.com/shows. Fill out the form properly. Don't make me go on a rant on how people can't fill out forms. Don't make me do it. And you too can be on the ranch. We're here every Monday night. Tonight we're with a good friend of mine, Kevin. So happy to have you on the show.
This is fun. Yeah, this is good. Thank you, Sparky. Arnold, Arnold's been a great supporter, really. And one of these days, he and I are going to co-write, because you're talking about 2 good old country boys. Arnold's originally from Kentucky, and I think he's really got a bluegrass soul, because he works in the coal mining industry, and he has. I send, as we travel, because Elvie and I wander all these back roads, and I'll send Arnold random pictures from different places in Kentucky. And this last trip, we went through Harlan, and I sent him a picture of the Harlan sign, and there's a very famous song, "You'll Never Leave Harlan Alive." And he's like, "Oh, I worked there too." And I'm like, "Of course you did," because it's bluegrass and coal mining go together. I mean, it's just in the Appalachian Mountains, and I love all that
from
stuff.
Kentucky, Arnold.
Yeah, and it's and I'm one of these days in Kentucky and western, southwestern Virginia. I want to hit some of the crooked highway spots and do some of the open bluegrass jams, because that music's deep in my soul too. And you said about indie artists sticking together, and that is 100%, 100% the truth, because I have met in person, folks like us and Arnold and another bunch of other people. And then I got a bunch of virtual friends.
Mhm.
Corey Lynn Green, she's from Harrisonburg, Virginia, and she's very Appalachian music. Her style of writing, and I could sit and listen to her play the banjo and sing all day. She's just fabulous. Some guys from Alabama, from Canada, from Scotland, and one of the guys from Canada, Les Vela, he goes under the Chillin' Flamingo is his stage name. He's putting together an indie songwriters thing down in Nashville in November. And I want to say it's the 16th to the 21st, somewhere in there. And he's still working out the details, but he's trying to get some venues together where we can get together and do it. Like, we're not getting on a Bluebird, we get it. But set
12
things up
keys,
kind of.
12 keys, things like that off of the strip. They would be up
Yes.
for it.
And that's what he's trying to arrange, is a bunch of places over 3 or 4 days that we can have a place to go showcase, and then we can get together and network ourselves in person with people that we've only ever seen on a computer screen. So like you and I are doing this now, but you and I know each other.
Right.
Stephanie Joyner,
You know what?
she and I do it.
You're one of the few artists I have on the show that I actually have seen live. Some of them are the ISA, International Singer-Songwriters Association.
Yeah, ISA.
And I meet a few of them in Atlanta, but then I have
Arnold,
my UK people on, and from
Arnold's
Canada.
an ISA. Arnold's won Songwriter of the Year from ISA at least twice, and I think he got a silver or bronze another year. So he's in that thing. And Phil Krantz, because I see he plays your music. He's played some of my music. He's a ISA. Um, I
Yeah,
forget what the title is, but
I
it's
had lunch with
DJ
Phil a
engineer
couple
kind of thing.
times. I know Phil really well. I
Yeah.
haven't seen him down there,
I don't know
but
if he goes
I
to
have
the
heard so.
award show, but I vote for him every year.
I know the voting's coming up, people. So get ready. I'm up again. I don't know if Arnold has songs in, but
I don't know, but I distinctly remember. I mean, he was the gold winner the one year. That was like such a
I am
thrill for me
shooting
to
for
know
gold. I
somebody.
haven't gotten gold yet, so I've gotten
Well,
close. But
keep going. I voted for you last year.
all right, vote for me again. I
I
want to get
will.
gold.
Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
That would be cool. That would be
It's a
cool.
great, again, we don't win many awards as an indie artist.
No.
ISA is one of those rarities that, you know, it's not even about the awards. It's about getting together in Atlanta and networking,
Yeah. It
Yeah,
is. And
Phil Krantz has COVID again, by the way.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, he
And,
was sick
and
again.
I'm a multi-instrumentalist, so I do play bass guitar, and I've been I play bass in a little punk trio from guys at work. We That's fun, but I play country bass, and I do a lot of I've done a lot of work the last year and a half, 2 years with my friends in Whiskey Crossing. I played lap steel with them
I
many
remember
years
with
ago.
you crossing. Yes.
And they're still going, so I play bass with them. I think I played 15 shows with them last year. I just played a show last weekend. We were up in Middletown, New York, and it's a different gig for me because I'm not singing, and I'm just playing bass, but it's fun to do. So, and they got in. It was the Josie Awards. They had an original song that
Yeah.
was
Yes.
nominated last year, so they went to the show. I think it was at the Opry House out there in by the Gaylord Perry Resort there in Nashville. So they went to that, which was pretty cool. They had the four of them went down or the five of them went down. That was pretty neat. So any kind of recognition like that is a neat thing to
Right.
have somebody take notice. I mean, for me, I haven't been nominated or in any of those things, and I'm okay with that. Entertaining people is what I like doing. I do those. I do other genres. So this Saturday coming, I'll be over at Enzo's on Friday night doing my bistro show where I sing. Um, I'll throw a couple country songs in, but I sing a lot of the stuff that I consider my dad's music, doo-wop, and then crooner stuff, Sinatra and Dean Martin and Louis Prima and
I
whatever.
don't think I've ever heard you do like Sinatra
It's
type stuff.
I have a lot of fun doing
I'm
it. It's
totally shocked.
it's different. I have my Irish shows I do. I can do
I've
Scottish
heard.
shows. I was in Scandinavia, so I did Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, 24 days this past year, and I really got into listening to some old Viking music. So, that kind of war ballady type stuff. I've been playing around with that, considering maybe playing some of the Scandinavian festivals, doing that. I I enjoy playing out live. I mean, and I love songwriting. They're my two things that I
Right.
really enjoy. And the other, probably the most rewarding thing I've done as a musician, playing for nursing home and memory care places. I've done, not, I had one place I played every other month for a while, and then they kind of changed their direction about what they do with their residents. And I've been trying to find some other ones to do. They're, especially like with old country music and old doo-wop music, they're very receptive, and it's good therapy for them, and it's good feeling for
Awesome.
me.
Yeah.
And the one place I really had a good connection with those residents, and it's very rewarding to do that.
It's so
So
rewarding. I do
yeah,
adults with disabilities, and they are just
yeah,
up there. They're dancing along. They're just having so much fun with the
they're
music. It's so
great,
rewarding. Oh,
great audiences. Yes. So it's I've gone the full gamut of I like you know I've tried some things I didn't like doing, and I don't do them again. It's the way it is. Um, I have my little bluegrass group with Carl Smecker, and Dave
Oh, yeah.
Sawinski, Glenn Whitmore, Steve Herchuk, and myself are Route 80 Crabgrass. So we don't play out a lot. We do a show or two a year, but that's fun to go do. And bluegrass and old country is so deep in my soul, and doo-wop music. And I think you see doo-wop influences in my writing that most people wouldn't. It doesn't go with country music, but some of the chord stylings do. Um, Things I have written that I sit there and say, yeah, that has a very 50s. And Rick gets it because Rick gets doo-wop stuff, and we have
Right.
this whole conversation about the influences and where it gets in your music that most people wouldn't think about. And I don't think about it when I'm writing. It's later when I've recorded it or I listen back to it and go, oh, hey, there's you know that influence is in there, and there's
Well, it's not in Vampire.
no vampire was a better mistake than Falling was, because Falling I had deliberately written a bunch of the song and I knew it was You're Falling for the Wrong Person. I just didn't know how it wrapped up. Vampire was I was, I don't know, 3 or 4 months into playing guitar. And when you start out, how you're playing like strum, strum, strum. So what's one of the things you work on? Strumming pattern, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down. And music theory, I don't really know music theory. So Jason Gallagher, I was talking about from work, he spent a fair amount of time teaching me about different parts of music theory. And we started talking about the Andalusian cadence, right? So what's the Andalusian cadence? It's minor, major, 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 descending scale. So the example I always give people is Stray Cat Strut, right? Stray Cat Strut is an Andalusian cadence. And the Andalusian cadence was written in the medieval times or Baroque times, whatever. So I'm literally sitting there with a guitar and I'm playing originally in C minor Andalusian, and I'm working on that strumming pattern, and I'm dun 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 dun. And my daughter's on the phone. I can hear her upstairs arguing with my ex-wife, and I pulled out a pen and I wrote Vampire to that strumming pattern I was screwing around with in that Andalusian cadence, and it just boom, and then she came flying down the stairs. Oh my God, you just wrote that. Yeah, well, and here it is. And it's
it's kind of self-explanatory. Vampire ex-wife.
It's been played, and it's funny because it's written as a country song. It has been performed as a punk rock song. It's been performed as a blues song, and it's been performed as a bluegrass song because it's written in a way that it translates well. It's just, the chords repeat, so you don't have to. It's not going anywhere crazy. There's a time signature change, I guess technically, if you want to talk about it, that the strumming goes different, but it's been a fun one to
Arnold. Here we go. We gotta play it. Vampire.
Several marriages are over and countless lovers gone. Of course you never take blame, but you're what's really wrong. You're a vampire, you suck the life from everyone you know. Vampire, you make everything a horror show. You ruin happiness, you're a leech upon the soul. You eclipse the light, you're a spiraling black hole. You offer misery to the lives that you unglue. There's only one thing left to say to you. You suck. Kids by different fathers, and you think you're super mom, but none of them want you around, 'cause you're a toxic bomb. You're a vampire, you suck the life from everyone you know. A vampire, you make everything a horror show. You ruin happiness, you're a leech upon the soul. You eclipse the light, you're a spiraling black hole. You offer misery to the lives that you unglue. There's only one thing left to say to you. You suck. And for your future victims, each of us can pray. You ought to wear a label warning everyone away. You're a vampire, you suck the life from everyone you know. Vampire, you make everything a horror show. You ruin happiness, you're a leech upon the soul. You eclipse the light, you're a spiraling black hole. You offer misery to the lives that you unglue. There's only one thing left to say to you. You suck.
And we are back on the ranch. We are brought to you by Blast Music 24/7, your one stop for indie music. Hotel Universe, your one stop for video. Anything that you need there, tell them Randie sent you. You're going to get a deal. And our friends in France, Indie Music Radio. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. So glad to have you aboard. Kevin, what are you working on next?
Well, I'm writing some songs. I was thinking about moving forward. I'll never cut a full album again. I'll do singles here and there, just, to contain the cost. I wrote a song last year that I played it live all summer, and I got a lot of great reactions from people. It was funny when I wrote it, and the first time I played it for SSG, I said, this is probably the most shallow song I've ever written. And I thought people were going to hate it, particularly women. And that the effect was the reverse. So the song is called "Every Girl Is Hotter in a Jeep," and people really dug it. And when I opened for Wade Jennings is Waylon's grandson, I opened for him this past summer, and that was one of the songs I did up at JNS Row House. So I opened for like 50 minutes or an hour, all originals, which was great. And did 4 or 5 women. They really had a big reaction to the song. It turns out they're all Jeep owners, right? And they come over and buy the CD, and they flip it over and go, "Hey, where's that song?" I was like, I said I just wrote it last month. Like, it's not instant that it shows up on a CD, So, and the Footprints in the Snow I just did last month. People have been digging that too. So it's maybe I need to get better at home recording. I don't know. It's a daunting task to try to, and you know how it is, to try to play all those instruments. It's not really feasible. So it's there's a trade-off. You could do an acoustic only, Yeah,
to be competitive in this market, though, I really try to compartmentalize what I can do well as far as marketing, branding, songwriting, and I know instrumentation, I can't do it all, so, I'll do stripped down versions or things like that, but trying to do it all.
Yeah, this last thing, when I put this album out, like Steve and Wayne were just, they were the bomb to work with. They're good friends to be, I've known them for 8, 9 years, whatever it's been. And, from Steve's open mic back in the day, how we met. And, Wayne plays in a New Riders of the Purple Sage tribute band. And he's a phenomenal pedal steel player. And just get to work with him was great.
Kevin, we are running out of time. I knew we'd be gabbing away.
Oh, we are.
And we ran over. Okay.
Okay.
Kevin, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you and catching up with everything that you're doing. It's been a cool journey, and I know that we've been kind of paralleling in certain ways in our playing, and it's really been great watching you grow over the years. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me on this. I want to thank Arnold and the other people that tuned in for being here.
Yeah,
And the people that are watching over. Yep, and there's folks watching over on Facebook, so appreciate them tuning in. And hopefully one of these days you and I land in the same place at the same time, and maybe get on the same show. Would be nice.
What? Keep me in mind, every time I travel a lot too, so things that you're setting up, and I'll do the same,
It's the biggest problem of being a musician is you miss seeing your friends play.
Kevin Lieberman popped in.
Kevin,
Look, guys, we gotta go. We're out of time. So, all right.
Thanks, everyone.
We're here next
Have a
Monday.
Good night. Thank you, Randie.
Have a great night, everyone.
I'm on the road. Don't know where